Like, okay, I have this new thing to do. I'm embarking on this new journey, this new goal, whatever, but I don't feel very confident right now. Maybe I should wait until I feel confident enough and then I will start. Please do not deceive yourself. You can have a physical glow up and change your appearance and get your hair done and your nails done and have a new beauty routine and look glamorous and all of these things. But if your character is trash, then what's the point? That's like when you see a restaurant in your city trending because it looks so beautiful and aesthetic and has all of these photo ops, and then you go and the food is absolutely bland. Like, it's absolutely trash, like literally not worth the experience at all. I'm making this episode because I don't want you to be that restaurant, okay? I don't want you to focus on your physical glow up and your physical appearance and all of these things and completely neglect your character. That is why I created a 12-week glowing up with God challenge, where I'm going to send you weekly scriptures telling you how to apply it in your life in order for you to have a full transformation in the next 12 weeks. Because believe it or not, I don't know if you know, but the Bible has a lot of principles that actually teach you how to improve your life. And I have been studying it and dissecting it and applying it in my life, and I'm inviting you to join me in the next 12 weeks. This will be a challenge that literally transforms who you are, not just your physical appearance. That's probably like 0.1% of it, right? So it's like a complete transformation where you will apply biblical principles to improve your life and become the best version of yourself. It's going to help you improve your discipline, your habits, your confidence, your relationships, and even the way you show up and how you impact others. Because just focusing on your physical appearance is essentially a temporary fix. You can look good on the outside and feel miserable on the inside. A lot of times we are actually giving out different principles for self-improvement that's based on the Bible, but we leave out God. The Bible has so many gems, you will be shocked, okay? So I'm going to be breaking that down and giving you different habits, mindset shifts, and different ways that you can completely transform your life in the next 12 weeks. There will be 3 phases. Phase 1 is going to be the foundation, your mindset, habits, discipline. Phase 2 is going to be the internal shift, and phase 3 is going to be the external shift. Not in terms of you changing your hair and nails and getting a beauty routine, but more so about how you show up and impact others. And I also created new social media accounts, okay, y'all. I ghosted Instagram for years and I just created a new page, and I will be posting my own updates with this and just interacting with y'all in general. So make sure you follow me on Instagram and my new TikTok for updates, and I will leave the link in the description below to join the challenge. I will also give you access to the group chat that I'm creating, where we can all communicate and engage and share our goals and hold each other accountable, so it's not just something you do in isolation, right? In this video, I'm going to be giving you 7 tips that you need to keep in mind as you go through this 12-week challenge so that you can have success and you can experience a complete life transformation, okay? So in phase 1, we are going to be laying the foundation and talking about mindset, habits, and discipline, and this will be from weeks 1 to 4 in the challenge. So the first thing I want you to keep in mind in this phase is that your problem might not be laziness, it could just be your inputs. Sometimes it's not laziness, it's your inputs that are ineffective, that's discouraging you from taking action because you feel like what you're doing isn't working, so you do absolutely nothing at all. So let me give you an example. Let's say you want to grow an account to 10,000 followers on TikTok, right? You could be posting a lot of content and you may be stuck in the 200, 300 views pool where it feels like, you know, you're not really getting any engagement, your account isn't really growing, right? But sometimes we focus on quantity and not quality. If you genuinely want to build a following and you want to have engagement too, not just followers, you have to produce a type of content that makes people buy into who you are and get invested in who you are, so it encourages them to engage. If you just follow a bunch of trendy sounds, trendy topics, 5-second videos, yeah, it might get likes, yeah, it might go viral, but people don't really care to stick around and follow you because they don't really know anything about you. Another thing with productivity, sometimes you're not reaching your goals because the type of tasks you're doing are things that don't really move the needle. Like, let's say you want to become a content creator and you have spent months planning, you have spent months on logos, you have spent months on maybe a name for your social media pages or your YouTube pages or a name for your business, and you've posted absolutely nothing about it. You have not created a product, you have not refined your service, you haven't done anything that actually matters, right? You're just stuck in a planning phase, essentially procrastinating in the form of perfection. perfectionism. You think your inputs right now matter, but they don't. Because if you had to meet somebody today and they say, what do you do? Or tell me about your business, you don't have anything to show them. All you have is a logo, but you don't have a product, you don't have a service, you don't have like any post on your social media page. You're wasting time on inputs that don't really move the needle, right? So that is the first thing I want you to keep in mind in phase one as we go through this challenge. The second thing is that your future is hidden in your daily habits or your daily routine. So I used to work out once a week. I used to do Pilates once a week, but now I upped my routine to 3 to 4 times per week, right? And not just Pilates. I also started going to the gym and started like paying attention to my foods and my protein intake, etc., right? And after my first week, I did not really see a difference in my body, right? I didn't really see a notable difference in my muscles or anything like that. And then the thought just came to mind that I'm not going to notice the slight improvements that happen on a daily basis. One day I will just wake up and I will be more muscular and more toned, and I will have a quote unquote dream body. And the thing you need to keep in mind too is this is not just for good habits, this is also for bad habits, right? Or let's talk about flossing, right? We know we should floss. You do know that, right? Because anyway, we know we should floss. We know we should floss daily, right? Sometimes you might say, okay, well, you know what? I don't feel like flossing today. I don't feel like flossing tonight before I go to bed. I'll just brush my teeth. You know what? I just, you know what? Let me just not floss altogether. But, you know, I'll brush my teeth, whatever. You don't take flossing seriously. You won't see the effects of it tomorrow. You probably won't see the effects of it next week. But in a few months, you're going to have all of this calcified plaque in between your teeth. Like you can tell who flosses and who doesn't, because on a daily basis, you don't think it's important. But after a few months or a few weeks, even depending on your oral hygiene, everybody, including you, is going to notice whether or not you floss, right? People are going to be able to tell that flossing is not a priority for you because of all of the calcified plaque that you have to go to a dentist to remove, right? You are not going to see the effects of your routines, whether good or bad, overnight. It's going to happen in the future, right? So everything you do on a daily basis is you casting a vote towards the type of future you want to have, towards the type of person you want to be in the future, okay? So make sure that votes you are casting is towards the type of person you want to be, not the type of person you don't want to be. The third thing is you need to have the discipline to stay in boredom in order for you to be consistent. This was something that hit me like a ton of bricks when I not first heard it, because the first time I heard it, I didn't really pay attention to it, but I realized it later when I saw the effects of me not being able to do this, when I saw the effects that it had on my life. So I remember thinking to myself that, you know what, I just want like a dynamic schedule. I don't know if I want like a routine that's the same every single day. I want a dynamic schedule. You know, one day I want to do this, one day I want to do that. I want to like spice up my life. I want things to have variety, you know? I can't eat the same meal more than 3 times a week. I can't eat the same meal prep like for the entire week. That's too much. I get bored, blah, 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 blah. And then what were the results in my life? Number one, my diet was, you know, it fluctuated. Why did it fluctuate? Because, well, sometimes I would do really well, but then when I only meal prepped for up to 4 days, now I have to find something to eat from day 5 to 7 because I wanted things to be dynamic, right? And that's more expensive because if I don't have food ready when I want to eat, then I go and I eat out. And then when I eat out, depending on the day, I might not have the most healthiest option. Sometimes I might have the most convenient option, which is not the healthiest. And all of that stemmed from me saying that I cannot commit to the same meal every day for 7 days. What I've realized more and more is that in order to be consistent, if you think about it, consistency is being able to do the same thing over and over. You need consistency to get results in anything that you want to achieve. But the thing that holds most people back from consistency and also the results, therefore, is the fact that when they do something a certain amount of times, they get bored and they think, oh, I need to do something else. Right? You're doing something, it's working, and then you say, let me experiment with this different thing. But what you were doing was working. Why did you stop? You stopped because you got bored. You stopped because you thought there would be something else. You need to be disciplined enough to stay in boredom in order to consistently do the things that you know you need to do to become the person that you are trying to become. Especially if you're busy, or if you're in a busy season, or if you decided to dedicate the next 12 weeks to take this challenge seriously. You need to reduce decision fatigue from things that don't really count, like your everyday meals. If there are other things that you need to prioritize above that, you need to be disciplined enough to say, you know what, I don't have the mental capacity right now to think about what groceries to get or what to cook every single week. I have this other thing that I really need to prioritize right now. So I am going to be disciplined enough to eat the same thing every day for 7 days so I can have the mental capacity and the focus to do the thing that matters most to me right now, right? Sometimes it's really just our inability to be disciplined in doing the same thing because we are bored that's holding us back. Now in phase 2, we're going to be expanding and building upon what we did in phase 1, right? So we're not going to be completely abandoning phase 1 and moving into these other things. We're going to maintain the work that we've been doing and then slowly add the components from phase 2, okay? So in phase 2, we're going to be talking about the internal shift, okay? So your confidence, how you show up, your relationships, that type of thing. The next tip is confidence is a decision, not necessarily always a feeling. Let me explain what that means, right? Sometimes we think confidence is just going to naturally show up over time. Like, okay, I have this new thing to do. I'm embarking on this new journey, this new goal, whatever, but I don't feel very confident right now. Maybe I should wait until I feel confident enough and then I will start. Please do not deceive yourself. Confidence is gained in every decision that you make that gets you closer to where you want to be. Let me give you an example. Before I started my podcast, I had a fear of being seen. I didn't want to, come on YouTube. I didn't want to do all of that. I was a very secluded person. I like my space. I like being by myself, blah, 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 right? And the first time I came on camera, I was not very confident. I was very shy. I was very uncomfortable. Okay. I wasn't confident in my abilities because it was all very new, right? But I did not wait to feel confident to start. I literally just started and I just kept doing the thing every week for a couple of years. And then now when I turn on the camera, I just speak, right? Like I don't read from a script. I may have talking points, but I just speak because I speak from experience. But I am more confident in the things that I say and the way I speak now. But that didn't just happen over time. It happened because I chose to show up every single day and do what God called me to do. And as a result, I got better. And that's when I started feeling more confident in actually doing the thing. But it started with me making a decision to do the thing that I was afraid to do. It started with me being proactive about the things that I wanted. And also my confidence grew because now if you ask me, do I have a podcast? I can tell you, yeah, and I can show you the receipts, right? I have the receipts to prove it. If you ask me if I have a podcast, I'm not going to tell you, well, I have a logo. Well, I've been working on a website and there's not a single episode out, right? I have the receipts. You can look up and you can see that I have actually been doing the thing that I said that I would do. So as a result, now when I say I want to do something else, I'm very confident in my ability to do it because I have a track record of doing the things that I say I will do. The reason why we lack confidence when we want to start something new that's possibly outside of our comfort zone is because subconsciously we look at our track record and that helps us determine whether or not we feel like we can do the thing or not. So with me in rebranding the podcast, in doing stuff on social media, even if it's stuff that I haven't done before, like with me making a new Instagram and committing to post more now, I see that I have a track record of when I say I'm going to show up online and do something, I do it. So I may not know what I'm doing right now with Instagram, but I am confident in my abilities to figure it out the same way I figured it out with my podcast. But if I never started the podcast, I would look at my track record and be like, well, you haven't even done the podcast. Well, you haven't even done this thing that you said you needed to do. So subconsciously, I'm signaling to myself that I don't do the things that I say I will do. And if I don't ever start, then I don't have a track record of success. I don't have a track record of triumphs, right? Overcoming challenges. So now in my mind, it's just like, well, I don't know if I should do this thing, right? So That's what I want you to think about when you think of confidence. It's not just, oh, let me wait until I feel confident enough to do it. It's not going to happen. You just have to keep doing it. And the confidence will come when you see that you decided to do something and you consistently did it. And with the experience, you will get better and then you will feel more confident because you've been doing it for a while and you are improving. The next tip is keep in mind that the people around you are the most accurate mirror that you have, and they will likely influence where you end up in the future. Now, the Bible has like a million scriptures on how you should be mindful of the company you keep. Be mindful of your circle, right? Do not walk with fools, like it says in Proverbs. Sometimes we have friends out of tenure and not necessarily out of intentionality. Let me explain what that means. Sometimes you have friends because you've just known them since college, or you've just known them since you were young. You grew up with them. Y'all lived in the same place. Y'all went to the same school. So you just keep people around. But you need to be more intentional with the people who are around you in this season of your life because they influence you more than you think. Okay, let's say you don't have anybody discouraging you or anything like that per se, or at least not intentional, but you don't have anybody encouraging you. You don't have anybody motivating you. You don't have anybody that will say no to you. You have a bunch of yes men around you. People who will encourage you to do whatever it is you say to do, but they won't give you like sound criticism or advice of what it is you are doing, because sometimes you have blind spots and other people might see them. But if the people around you see your blind spots and they don't even tell you, then that's doing you a disservice because you are not getting good advice. You are just getting a bunch of people who are encouraging you to do every and anything that comes to your mind, and that might not be the best thing for you, right? Even if people aren't bringing you down or jealous of you or competing with you or being insecure around you, you need to be mindful that people who don't necessarily stretch you could also hinder you. Maybe they serve a different purpose in your life, but as you are trying to have this transformation in the next 12 weeks, you need people who will hold you accountable, okay? And that's why when you join a challenge, you are also going to get access to the group chat where you can post your goals and engage with other people in the community so we can all hold each other accountable, so we can get to where we're going faster and we can stay encouraged. Now in phase 3, the final phase, the final stretch from weeks 9 to 12, we are going to be focusing on your external glow up, okay? And yes, I left this for last because you need to do the work internally first so that it can genuinely just seep out, because that's who you are, versus trying to put on a persona that you cannot maintain because you're being fake essentially, right? Like that's not really you. Okay. And the thing too is you can be pretty on the outside. You can get your hair done, your nails done. You can do all of these exquisite, elaborate beauty treatments. But if you are ugly on the inside, then I'm sorry, but that's all you'll ever be. Okay. Because nobody wants to be around somebody who looks good on the outside, but your character is trash. Okay. You're not a fun person to be around, right? You are not a pleasant experience. And not only that, you won't have peace. Okay, you will have looks, but you won't have peace. You will have things, but you won't have a sound mind. You won't have joy. You won't be fulfilled, right? If you always just focus on a physical glow up and think, okay, well, at least when people look at me, they'll assume I have my life together. Just stop lying to yourself, okay? You need to prioritize the parts of you that people don't see so that by the time they see you, everything matches the vibe, right? It's all consistent. You look good and you are a good person. But even in this phase, by the way, it is not about your physical appearance. It is not. I say external glow up, but it's more so about how you present yourself to others, how you treat others, how you show up in the world, okay? So it's not just about your physical glow up. This section, like in this phase, I'm not going to be telling you to get your hair done and get your nails done, all of these things. You don't need me to tell you that. Okay, that's probably like 1% of this section, but everything else is still focusing on internal work, but making sure what's on the inside is magnified on the outside. So the tips for phase 3 is your reputation is a delayed reflection of your character. You want to build a type of reputation that gets you opportunities without being in a room. Because of your character, because of how you treat people, because you are a genuinely good person on the inside, which is what we're going to be working on in phase 1, phase 2. in this whole challenge, to be honest. You are going to have a good reputation, and it's going to give you influence and favor with people who don't even know you, because what they heard about you was good to the people who have experienced you. And the final tip, because it goes hand in hand with this, is your glow up is not just measured by how you level up, especially in terms of your physical appearance, but it is also measured by how you love. Okay? This challenge is going to be you glowing up with God. The Bible has so many gems that teaches you how to be a good person, essentially, right? To love your neighbor as yourself, to show humility, to show compassion, to be patient, right? Literally, the description of love, all of these things, it tells you how to treat other people. It tells you that you should serve other people. So a glow up challenge with God is not going to be primarily about you leveling up in terms of getting material things or improving your physical appearance, because that is very shallow. Okay, this challenge is about making you become a better person. It's not just about getting your life together. It's about becoming the type of person who makes others better too, right? Again, that's servitude. Love your neighbor as yourself. Because if your success and your discipline and all of the habits and everything that you build, if your entire focus for a glow up journey is all about you, you're not really glowing up. You're just elevating yourself from a place of self-centeredness, and that does not really serve anybody. Okay? And in phase 3 in the challenge, we're going to be focusing on practical ways that you can embody love and servitude of other people. So it's not just about you and what you want. And it's like, oh, look at me. I look pretty. I have all of these things, blah, blah, blah. I'm a better person. And that doesn't benefit anybody other than maybe physically looking at you, right? Like, want more for yourself. Okay, I just want you to want more for yourself outside of your physical appearance. So these are the tips that I want you to keep in mind as you go through this 12-week challenge. So I will leave the link in the description below for you to sign up for the free challenge. And every week I will send you a weekly theme that is based on a scripture and how to practically apply it in your life. And you will also get access to the group chat so we can have a community and encourage each other. So you can implement all of these tips and have a complete transformation in the next 12 weeks, not just a physical glow up. And also, like I said, y'all, I made an Instagram account and a new TikTok, and I am going to be sharing vlogs and different updates on this transformation in my life as well. So be sure to follow me for those updates. That is all I have to say today. Make sure you join the challenge, and I will talk to you next Sunday.